Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Functionally Autoimmune. I'm so happy that you're here. We have a fantastic guest today. So with us on the show today, we have Therese, also known as T, Forton-Barnes. She is an environmental toxin health coach and a head guru at the Green Living Gurus. She's an entrepreneur, an activist, an educator, and she even has her own household product line called T's Organics. Hi, T, how are you today?
I am so good. How are you, Brandy?
I'm so good. I'm so happy that you're here on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Of course, of course. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself and how you got into this line of work and involved in environmental toxins and all of these kinds of things?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a house that was all organic, healthy in Buffalo, New York, which is where I live still today. And I had three older sisters and younger brother, and my mom made us all of our own food. And I started realizing when I started going out to other friends' homes, they didn't eat how we ate. And that's when Burger King and McDonald's and Wendy's and everything back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And I felt like I was an outcast. I'd come home, we'd have apples and, hard-boiled eggs and, different snacks. But
Okay.
so when I went to college, I went to Ithaca College in central New York State. I had a major in business and a minor in health because I wanted to open up a large health food store because we shopped at this tiny little co-op. My mother worked at it. And that's where we bought our food. And I just wanted everybody to see that living a healthy life was okay. And there were a lot of products out there. So you all know that as Whole Foods. I had nothing to do with Whole Foods. Unfortunately, I did have a business plan like Whole Foods, but I came out of college as a party planner because that was my other hat. I have worn for 37 years. I have a party and wedding planning service here in Buffalo, New York. But in the past 37 years, I have helped a lot of people get toxic chemicals out of their homes, doing it on the side. I'd have cancer patients call me and say, can you please come over and help me see where potentially carcinogens are entering into my home or my body? And I've studied for that, forever. I've read, it's in my blood to really want to help as many people as possible. And at age 56, 2 years ago, I said, you know what? I planned over 700 events. I am ready to go. I've always wanted to pivot over into the green space. And I always had this little side business that actually I wasn't even charging anybody. I was just doing it for fun. And so in 2020, I started Green Living Gurus. And then the pandemic hit. And of course, I have no event planning company. So it gave me the opportunity to really dive in a lot more. I took as many courses as I could possibly take, probably too many. I've never worked so hard in my life in the past 2 years. And it's my sole mission now for the rest of my life is to help as many people as possible. So in the course of all this, I launched the business, but of help, coaching. But throughout it, I also had always loved essential oils, and I was making my own all-purpose cleaner and giving it away as gifts. And then everyone's like, well, you have to keep making that because we can't use anything else. So that's when you mentioned T's Organics. I created my own line of, and I think you can probably see it over my right shoulder if you're watching this on YouTube, but created my own line of all-purpose cleaner along with room sprays. And that's where I am today, and still helping as many people as possible get these horrible chemicals out of our lives.
Yes, I love that. And talk about timing. I mean, it seems like the pandemic was almost a great timing for you to kind of make that switch, right?
Yeah, it's very odd how it all happened, because I was looking at 2020, my year, vision, 2020 vision.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it hit, and it was really good timing for me. And everybody wants to, of course, be as healthy as possible. Absolutely. And it's the best time to really look at your health and make sure you're really cleaning out your lives, your body, your homes of all these toxic chemicals that can really be affecting your immune system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And I love what you're doing. I think it's so fantastic because we
Thank you.
are exposed to so many just kind of random toxins. And I think a lot of times people don't even realize what those toxins are and how they're being exposed to them. So can you give us a little bit of a breakdown on kind of what are some of the things that we should look for, or where should we start, or, what's out there? Because a lot of people don't know what they're up against.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting to understand a little bit about why we are where we are today, because the chemical industry really has a stronghold, and the cosmetic industry, but the chemical industry has a really strong hold on manufacturing of products. And I don't think I have to tell anybody how powerful the chemical companies are in this country,
Right.
from Monsanto to Bayer to DuPont. I mean, it's coming out a lot more now in stories. Unfortunately, we're starting to hear about all of these horrible stories of people getting sick and cancer and lawsuits. So to understand a little bit about how we got here and why are they allowed on the market today, because we all know that chemicals in food, water, and other everyday products. I mean, we hear about that all the time, but the category of consumer products, our government does not oversee. So it's the regulations on consumer products as opposed to food and water and medical devices and other products at the FDA. You have to get the FDA to pass them. So there's so many consumer products out there, anybody can put them on the market. So people don't realize that we are not protected. So we really have to protect ourselves. So there's thousands of chemicals out there. There's over 100,000 chemicals out there, and only 11 of them have been banned in the United States, that is. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. And the amount of them that are known carcinogens are, I couldn't even count for us, but the amount of them, that they know that there are cancer causing chemicals in these products. So that's something that you have to understand that. And then you might have an open mind when it comes to the next time you go and look for a product. You really want to be cautious and really want to read on that label, what is it that you are putting on your body, on your skin, in your hair, on your face, on your lips, on your nails, under your armpits, and the list goes on and on and on. It gets daunting. And you know that, Brandy, as I do, because it's overwhelming with the amount. But once you start realizing like, oh, I better look at this. I look at everything.
Yeah, me too.
I better, right? I better look at this. And sometimes things sneak into our house, and my husband's like, oh my God, I can't believe you let that in the door. I'm like, I can't believe I did either. I got some shampoo sent to me from Good Housekeeping. I was doing an online webinar, and they sent it to a bunch of us podcasters, and it came from Good Housekeeping and somewhere else, Made Safe and somewhere else, but it was not a Made Safe certified product. Anyways, it was shampoo. It was in a recyclable stainless steel container. So I thought, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because they want you to refill it.
Right.
But there was fragrance in it. And stupid me, who tells everybody to do this.
Right.
I just assumed that they sent me these products and they were safe. And you can't assume. You can't even assume if it has the word natural on it. And it took me at least 3 days to get the smell of those chemicals out of my hair.
Wow.
And my husband's like, I can't even smell you. It's because he's so sensitive. We're so sensitive to anything.
Yeah.
Because we know that they're all chemicals that can really affect your breathing. And so I probably didn't even answer your question, did I?
No, I love it. I love it. And actually you mentioned fragrances. So I wanted to kind of jump into that real quick because a lot of people don't understand why fragrance is a problem. So can you talk about that a little bit specifically?
Yes, this is probably one of the number one things when I help people get toxic chemicals out of their house, out of their lives, is the word fragrance. It's probably the easiest thing that you can look for on a label. And sometimes it says parfum, sometimes it says perfume, sometimes it says natural fragrances, and it's a law. It's a law from the 1940s that if you have the word fragrance on a bottle, whatever you're putting it, personal care product, you do not have to disclose what those ingredients are in that fragrance.
Right.
That one word, it could be 20 chemicals that can all cause cancer. And you do not have to disclose it because of the perfume industry. When they were coming out with all the perfumes in the 1940s,
Yeah.
they said, well, we don't want to tell, whatever perfume, I don't wear perfume, but Chanel, what's in our perfume, and they're going to steal our ideas, whatever. So they came up with this idea to put the word fragrance on there, and you didn't have to say anything about what was in your product. And that is a law still today in 2021.
Wow.
We still have this law that anybody can make a product and put the word fragrance on there, and they do not have to tell you what's in it. Scary. And it's very scary. And that is made up of a myriad of many chemicals, many harsh chemicals. That's pretty much where the scent is coming from.
Right.
The smell in your laundry detergent, in your dryer sheets, in your shampoo, in your lotions, in your deodorants, in your cologne. That is made up of many chemicals. Many are potentially cancer causing, and many can also potentially cause many other illnesses, allergies, respiratory problems, birth defects. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's very serious. If you can avoid that one word in all of the products that you use, you have made a huge step in the right direction of avoiding many chemicals.
Absolutely. And it's so crazy to me. Like you said, here we are and almost going into 2022 at this point.
Right.
And we still have this archaic law that allows these chemicals to just be freely sold to us, and they keep us kind of in the dark about it.
Yep, exactly. And this is the United States. There's over 40 nations, Japan, Italy, Ireland, Cambodia, that have taken measures to restrict over 1,400 chemicals that have been known to cause illnesses and cancer from cosmetic products.
Mm-hmm.
The United States has not.
Right.
And the cosmetic industry fights it, and they fight it hard. And there's been some good movement lately, that New York State and California, which are always the two leaders when it comes to passing laws, but they're really trying to get some new laws passed with the cosmetics and the amount of chemicals in the cosmetics. And then the other thing, so many of these cosmetics, think about the ones that you see at the dollar store or wherever for little kids, the nail polish, the lipstick. That is unbelievable to me that is even allowed on the market. Those are usually coming from China and manufactured over there and can be sold here. And they do not have to tell you what's in them. And these little kids, I mean, they're putting them on, probably eating them, ingesting them, they're on their skin. And it's just so sad to me that this is just the way it is. It's hopefully things, people like you, people like me, and everybody else that is out there trying to get the word out is hopefully going to make some changes in this world when it comes to.
Yeah, it's really, really scary. And, it's just kind of staying on the topic of fragrance for a few minutes. I like what you have done with your line, because a lot of people have, and I have a lot of people say to me, well, it's nostalgic for me to smell, bleach, or for me to smell this particular laundry detergent. Like, that's just what I grew up with, and that's how I want my laundry to smell. But there's so many ways to have really good smelling laundry or whatever you want, but do it in a healthy way.
That is a very good point. So
Yeah.
we identify with smells so much
Mhm.
from growing up. And when I come into somebody's house, especially when they have dryer sheets, they can't let go of it.
Mhm.
I mean, they do eventually. Once they do, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I was living with those and I can't even be around them anymore.
Mhm.
It just takes to eliminating them and for people to realize how horrible they really are for you and
Yeah.
for your lungs. Our
Right.
lungs are so important right now, but you can break that habit. And when you bring up my product, yes, I know people love, like, they think their house has to smell of chemicals in order to be clean or in order
Yeah.
to kill off bacteria or viruses, or,
Mhm.
you're also killing good bacteria when
Right.
you're using these chemicals. So my all-purpose cleaner uses 7 different essential oils, purified water, and organic vinegar. And the essential oils are organic as well. And the essential oils are ones that have known properties for being antibacterial and anti-fungal. So the cinnamon, clove, lemon, eucalyptus, rosemary, orange, and ginger. And these are all, like, essential oils are so powerful
Yeah.
that this is how everybody, they've used them for
Yeah.
hundreds of years. But what the chemical companies have tried to do is mimic them. So they
Mhm.
mimic them in a way that they use chemicals to mimic the lemon fresh smell. There's no lemon in there.
Right.
Or the eucalyptus flavor, whatever, or the orange laundry soap, or and
Yeah.
they have to not only, the chemicals that they use to do that are all synthetic,
Mhm.
and then they have to use more chemicals to overpower the chemicals that actually have bad smells, because many of these chemicals have
Yeah.
horrific smells. So they're throwing more chemicals in there to get rid of that smell, and
Yeah.
then more on top of it. So they get this fake lavender smell.
Right.
And they put on the label that it's a fresh ocean breeze or fresh lavender garden smell.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in there that is at all of essential oils. But I
Yeah.
do want to note what they have been doing a lot. Many of these companies, they've been using made with essential oils, because they
Mm.
know how much essential oils people think, oh, if we do it made with, all they have to do is put 2% of essential oils in there, and they can say it was made with essential oils. So
Wow.
people think that lemon fresh smells maybe lemon essential oils, and it's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
Wow. I
So
mean, the marketing tricks are really I mean, I'm always
yeah,
shocked by marketing tricks, right? Like all
always.
natural, all these
Mhm.
things, and really they're just not.
Nope, they're not. They're
Yeah.
not. And they do it. It's called greenwashing. And they do it to purposely get you to think. I always think about these companies in their big, huge conference rooms with their multi-gazillion dollar ad agencies talking about how they can greenwash
Yeah.
the market to think that this is a really healthy product. Let's put it in a new box that makes it look like it's all natural, and let's put it in a
Yeah.
container, just like the shampoo I used. I mean, it was toxic shampoo,
Right.
but they got me even to think it was okay because it was, oh, they're recycling, or
Right.
it's just, you really have to pay attention. And um, luckily we have a lot of resources out there to everybody, and I'm sure you use the environmental working group
Yeah.
app. Yep, the environmental working group .org, and it's a great reference to look at their website. They analyze all of these products and scale them from 1 to 10 on how toxic the ingredients are in them and how many cancer-causing chemicals could be in those products.
Yeah.
Love EWG, but my real favorite one I love so much and I support a lot is Made Safe.
Yeah.
And Made Safe is a lot smaller, but they certify products. So if there's a product they list, you do not ever have to look at the label. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think that's the tricky part for someone who's really wanting to change their home, change everything, and try and get rid of some of these toxins. A lot of times it's very difficult where to start, right? The marketing is tricky. They're kind of nostalgic with the fragrances. Where do I start? What do I get rid of first? What do I look out for? So there's a lot of questions for someone who's out there starting. So those resources are really fantastic ways to kind of look for answers quickly to when you're out shopping or trying to find something.
Yeah, absolutely. Environmental Working Group has an app, and you can just scan the barcode, and it'll tell you and they have hundreds of thousands of products in there, and it'll tell you how toxic it may be. So it's a good resource, definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So if someone was kind of new to this, but they really wanted to start cleaning out their home and protecting their family, what are some of the top products that you think about when you're thinking about cleaning out someone's home and getting rid of some of the toxins? What are some of those top things that are kind of like start here kind of items?
Okay, so in general in the home, because I'm all about the indoor air quality of your house.
Yeah.
And what you're breathing in every day. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, certain nail polishes have formaldehyde in them, but you're not using those all the time. But first of all, we talked a little bit about laundry and dryer sheets. It's the number one thing that I would absolutely change, because you're sleeping in sheets that are washed in chemicals if you're using certain products. Even if it says it's fragrance free, it still has chemicals in it. And you're sleeping in it, you're breathing those chemicals in all day on your clothes, and your vents, it's going through your vent, and those are chemicals that potentially are in the air in your house. And then to boot, you're pushing the chemicals out into the environment as well, because you have to vent outside. So I am all about, that's like the number one thing that I help people with when we go through their house, is looking at what they wash their clothes with, because that's what they're around every single day.
I love that. And I think that's such a great starting point. And especially, those dryer sheets, I completely agree. They're just so toxic. I want to just kind of touch on that real quick too, because I've had conversations with people who we've talked about dryer sheets and laundry. And, I've had people say, oh, well, I use the laundry detergent that's meant for babies, so it's better. What is your thought on that marketing ploy and how that kind of works out?
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to be careful, because they, as in the manufacturers of these products, are playing to the consumer.
Yeah.
So if it says, I've seen it where it says low, I don't know, something where they're making you think that it's not toxic, or you really have to really turn the label around and look at those ingredients. Look at the Environmental Working Group. There are so many products out there now that are not using 20 chemicals in them to manufacture them. Molly Suds is one, ones that you don't hear a lot about, but Molly Suds is one of her children had a very serious reaction to laundry soap. And she just said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm washing my kids' soap or clothes in this, whatever ingredient it was. And she just started her own business. So Molly Suds is one, Meloria is another. I know people that there's some of the 7th generation ones are okay. There's some other ones on the market out there that you can buy at the commercial, you can buy potentially at Target as well. You just have to be careful, because you have to make sure that there's no fragrance in there. Even though it says lavender, turn it around and see if it says fragrance, because if it does, you're getting chemicals. And if you want a fragrance, get some essential oils and put a little in your laundry machine. If you love the lavender smell, use real essential oils. So
absolutely. I love that. And I think that's a really great advice, is you can add that to your laundry. And, I have the little kind of dryer balls, the little wool
Yeah,
dryer balls, and I just
right.
love them. And I've talked to a lot of people who didn't realize that you could actually put essential oils on those little
And
guys
then,
if you wanted.
yeah, you can put them right on them. And some of them even have like a little hole that you can put them in. And yeah, the dryer balls are great. They really are. And it's hard for people to give up those dryer sheets. It takes you a while because you've got to get those chemicals out of your machine. And it
Right.
takes a while because they can create what they do is they leave a layer on your clothing so you
Yeah.
don't get the static. So you got to get rid of that layer of. I listened to somebody that had all they talk about is laundry, and I was fascinated with the concept of trying to get those chemicals out of your clothes. It takes a while. So honestly, it just takes a while to get them out. So
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I mean, how often do we do laundry, right? I mean, we're doing it
yeah,
all the time.
yep,
So
all the
yeah,
time. I know.
absolutely.
Seriously, yeah.
So I want to touch on kind of other areas of the home. So, we have chemicals a lot of times like in our dish soap, in our, you
Mm.
have the all-purpose cleaning product. So a lot of times there's just tons of chemicals in that, then we're spraying it everywhere. So what other areas do you find that outside of laundry that really are just kind of exposing us to a lot?
So the cleaning supplies is the real reason why I started this line, because again, indoor air. So anything you spray in your house, you are potentially breathing in and getting in your lungs
Mhm.
and adding to your toxic load of chemicals in your body. So so anything you clean with, and they may be the more toxic than your laundry
Yeah.
detergent because you're putting them on the counter, you're putting them on the floor, you're
Mhm.
putting them on surfaces, they're going into the air, you're breathing them in. Those chemicals don't go anywhere and you don't need them.
Yeah.
And you really don't. And that's why again, not to, keep talking about my product, but I used to clean with just water and vinegar. That's all we cleaned with.
Yeah.
And then when I got into essential oils, I created this and I'm like, I love the smell, but it also is helping to kill any germs or kill any viruses. And I feel like it's protecting us too, and also boosts our immune system. So it was like sort of like more than one benefit, but
Yeah.
spraying anything to clean your windows, ammonia. That's ammonia you're spraying on your windows. Now, I have to tell you, my product is not for window because it's got oil in it, but I grew up using newspaper and vinegar on our windows to clean them, believe it or
Yeah.
not. That's how it was back in the 70s when my mother had us cleaning windows.
Mhm.
So it's these companies that came out with all these products that you have to have for your toilet, for your
Mhm.
counter, for your window, for your bathroom, and you
Right.
don't. You
Yeah.
don't. There's a lot of wonderful do-it-yourself video tutorials out there that you really don't need all those products. So
Absolutely.
that's definitely definitely an area I would be concerned with in getting them out of your house. And definitely anything in your air. No more spraying Febreze or
Mm.
I don't know what else people spray in their air, but it's not. It's typically those are chemicals that are being
Right.
ingested. So,
Yeah.
and candles is another one too. Candles are candles can be very, very toxic.
Yeah,
So
and I'm glad that you brought that up because I think a lot of people think that if they're using candles over some type of a spray that they're actually doing something better. But a lot of times the candles can actually be just as toxic, right?
yes, candles can have a myriad of chemicals in them too. And the wick can have lead in it, which you do not want to be breathing in lead. So you really have to be careful
Yeah.
about the candles too. Absolutely. And some people think, oh yeah, well, it said soy, but it says fragrance on it.
Hmm.
So, I have one candle company, actually, I love Fontana Candle Company, and they make safe candles. And I'm sure there's other ones out there, but that was one that I actually found that I like.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really important call out. I'm glad that you said that because I do think that a lot of people and again, with marketing, a lot of times those candles are just marketed in a way where you think you're getting this safe candle and really you're not. And it's something that is you, especially this time of year, I think around the holidays, we see
Right.
a lot of candle usage because, we want the smell of the holidays
Right.
or whatever. And so there's definitely an uptick of that usage around this time of year. And so it is definitely important to understand that those can be just as dangerous.
Get some cinnamon, get some clove, literally the stick of cinnamon, get some clove, get a branch of eucalyptus, put it on your stove in hot water and boil that hot water very slowly.
Yeah.
You will have the most amazing smell, and whatever smell you want. Yeah, it's potpourri, and that's basically what their candles are mimicking, is trying to get that smell. So use that for your holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Plus, you have
Yeah,
something fun cooking on the stove, right? I mean, that's always
totally, absolutely,
yeah, for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, I love that you really focus on the home and things that you use inside of your house, because really that's where you have the most kind of power and control. Once you leave your
Right.
house, you don't have a lot of control over what other people use or what they use in your workspace or things like that. But you in your home, you have so much control over what you're exposed to.
We do, and thankfully we do. And these days, so many people are in their homes. The important fact that you have to realize too, that is, and this has been known and reported, that the home is actually 2 to 5 times, some people say 2 to 50, but 2 to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air. And that's because of the chemicals that you potentially are bringing into your house. So yes, your indoor air quality is so important to your overall health. And there's little things you can also do to help with that. Always have a window open. And if it's middle of winter, like we are in the middle of winter right now, we will open a window, a crack here, a crack there, just to get some movement of air into your house. It's really, really good for you to do that. So
yeah, I love that. And I think that's really a great call out as well, because especially, I mean, you're in Buffalo, so when it gets really cold, a lot of times we want to hunker everything down, right? But then that air can get really stagnant really quickly.
Really stagnant, and it can make you really tired because you need airflow. You need it oxygen, right? And and hopefully without a ton of chemicals flowing around either too.
Right, exactly. Well, I want to make sure before we run out of time that we give you a chance to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find your information, where they can find your resources, where they can find your wonderful products. I want to make sure we have time to share all of that. So can you tell us where, about your websites and all of those things?
Sure. Yeah. My website is thegreenlivinggurus.com. And pretty much on there, you will find my podcast, my social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook. And then on there is Teas Organics under the label or the tab shop. So pretty much just the website, it's thegreenlivinggurus.com. And I'm accessible on there, and I'm all over the place on social media. And I have a lot of information I post all the time about similar subjects like this. So
yeah, I love it so much. And I love what you're doing and that you're getting this information out there and that you're helping people, because it is very important for people to get educated on this topic, because, it's so tricky out there to figure out what's good for you and what isn't. And so I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing. And we've mentioned your amazing products several times, but I mention them because I do really think that it's truly amazing that you have this great option out there that is clean, that people can use, that is, not only does it clean well and it's functional, but also it smells great. And so you have that option without all the chemicals. And so it's companies like yours that make it possible to get to this point where we can have clean, green living in our homes.
Oh, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. And same with you. And thank you for everything that you're doing. It's, I feel like we're all holding hands across the country. Like we can do this. We can let everybody know that you don't need to be using all these chemicals in your house and life, and your immune system needs more protection from from things that, can be affecting it, which is ultimately what we all want to do, is have a good, healthy immune system.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, thank you so much, T, for being on the show today and for sharing all of your wonderful information. And everyone listening, I will definitely put all of the resources in the show notes as well. So if you weren't able to write that down, check out the show notes so that you can get to T and all of her wonderful information and wonderful products. So check in the notes if you didn't catch that. And again, T, thank you so much for all of everything that you're doing and for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you. And have a very happy holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
And thanks for listening to another episode, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.